It's Wednesday, May 20th, 2026, and right now, Vladimir Putin, the man who once rolled tanks into sovereign nations without blinking, is hiding in a bunker. Not from NATO, not from a US carrier strike group, from his own people. Let that sink in for a second. A leaked European intelligence report, confirmed by the Financial Times, CNN, and OCCRP, has just exposed something that changes everything we thought we knew about Putin's grip on power. The most feared authoritarian on the planet is now reportedly running double security sweeps on his own chefs, his photographers, his bodyguards. He's put surveillance systems inside the private homes of people who cook his meals. That is not strength. That is a man who is genuinely terrified. So what did Ukraine actually do to get inside Vladimir Putin's head this deep? And what does it mean for the next phase of this war? Let's build the full picture. Here's the thing. For most of this conflict, Russia had a psychological sanctuary. Yes, there were frontline losses. Yes, the economy was bleeding. But Moscow felt safe. Kremlin elites went to their dachas on the weekends. Putin visited military sites. The war, for most Russians in the capital, was something happening somewhere else. Ukraine just destroyed that completely. On May 17, 2026, just 3 days ago, Ukraine launched one of its largest drone strikes ever recorded on Russian territory. Russian defenses shot down 556 drones in a single night. Over 1,000 drones were intercepted in the following 24 hours. And still, 3 people died near Moscow. Drone debris fell on the grounds of Sheremetyevo, Russia's largest airport. High-rise apartment buildings in western Moscow took hits. An oil refinery near the capital was struck. Zelensky confirmed the strikes publicly and said, quote, they were entirely justified. He also said Ukraine was now clearly overcoming Russian air defenses concentrated around the capital. Read that again. Ukraine is overcoming the air defenses around Moscow. That's not a talking point. That's a verified operational fact. And this is not a one-time event. Ukrainian drones attacked Moscow 3 nights in a row ahead of Russia's May 9th Victory Day parade. Putin's Kremlin was so rattled that for the first time in the history of that parade, there were 0 heavy military vehicles, no tanks, no missiles rolling through Red Square. The most important propaganda event on Putin's calendar got quietly gutted because of Ukrainian drone pressure. To really understand why Putin is in bunker mode right now, you have to go back to June 1st, 2025. Russia's Military Transport Aviation Day, of all days. Ukraine's security service, the SBU, executed Operation Spiderweb. 117 drones, hidden inside cargo trucks, smuggled deep inside Russia by unwitting civilian drivers, and launched simultaneously against 5 Russian airbases across 5 time zones. Belaya Air Base in Irkutsk Oblast was struck. That's 4,300 kilometers from Ukraine, deep in Siberia, previously considered completely untouchable. The results were devastating. Over 40 high-value Russian aircraft were hit, including Tu-95 and Tu-22M strategic bombers and A-50 early warning planes. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia may have lost up to 20% of its operational long-range aviation fleet in a single night. These aircraft, worth an estimated $7 billion, were hit with $2,000 drones. According to reporting from the Financial Times, the psychological impact inside the Kremlin from Spiderweb, quote, is still there. A person familiar with Putin told the FT directly, the shock of Ukraine's drone operation Spiderweb is still there. That's the operating context for everything happening at the Kremlin right now. Now here's where it gets really serious. A European Union intelligence agency produced a classified internal assessment of the Kremlin's current security posture. That report was obtained by CNN, the Financial Times, OCCRP, and the investigative outlet iStories. This is not rumor. Multiple Tier 1 outlets verified the same document. The report states clearly, since the beginning of March 2026, the Kremlin and Vladimir Putin have been concerned about a leak of sensitive information and, at the same time, about the risk of a plot or coup attempt against the Russian president. And here's the line that should stop everyone cold. It says Putin, quote, fears the use of drones for a possible assassination attempt by members of the Russian political elite, not by Ukraine, not by NATO, by his own political elite. That is the sentence that changes the entire frame of this war. We're no longer just watching a military conflict. We're watching the internal architecture of a dictatorship begin to fracture. Let's walk through exactly what that intelligence report says Putin has done to protect himself, because these details are extraordinary. Location: Putin has retreated almost entirely to reinforced underground bunkers in the Krasnodar region of Russia. He has spent weeks at a time there without returning to Moscow. Neither he nor his family has visited their residences in the Moscow region or Valdai. 0 visits to military facilities have been recorded in 2026. In previous years, those visits were routine. Appearances: Russian state media is now regularly broadcasting pre-recorded footage of Putin to maintain the illusion of normalcy. The man you're seeing on television may not be in real time. Staff surveillance: surveillance systems have been forcibly installed inside the private homes of his cooks, bodyguards, and personal photographers. These are the most trusted people around him, and he's watching them. No smartphones: all staff working in close proximity to Putin are permitted to use only phones without internet access. No smart devices, no connectivity. Transportation ban: his personal staff are banned from using public transportation entirely to prevent them from being approached or compromised by intelligence operatives. Double security sweeps: anyone entering the presidential administration now undergoes 2 full levels of screening, including a complete body search by FSO officers every single time. These are not the protocols of a man who is in control. These are the protocols of a man who doesn't know which direction the threat is coming from. The intelligence report also names a specific name that should concern every analyst watching this conflict. Former Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, currently serving as Secretary of the Security Council, is described in the report as associated with the risk of a coup, as he retains significant influence within the military high command. The trigger that supercharged these fears was the assassination of Lieutenant General Fanil Sarvarov on December 22, 2025. Sarvarov's car was blown up in a parking lot near his Moscow home. He was the head of the Operational Training Directorate of the Russian Armed Forces General Staff. Ukraine is believed to be responsible. 3 days after that killing, Putin convened an emergency security meeting. According to the intelligence report, it turned into a full-scale blame session. Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov lit into FSB Director Alexander Bortnikov for failing to protect senior military officers. Bortnikov said he didn't have enough resources or personnel.
Command. That's
Putin
crisis management
called
at the
for
very
calm
top of the
and
Russian
told everyone
state.
to come
Then,
back with
on March
solutions
5th,
in a week. 2026, Shoigu's former first deputy, Ruslan Salakov, was arrested in Moscow on charges of money laundering, embezzlement, and bribery. The intelligence report describes this as a breach of the tacit protection agreements among elites, meaning the unwritten rule that if you're loyal, you stay safe. That rule just got broken, and every elite in Russia noticed. So let's step back and look at the full chessboard, because when you line all of this up, it's a completely different picture than what Russian state media wants you to believe. Ukraine has, in a matter of months, executed a strategy that is doing something no conventional military operation could accomplish on its own. It is collapsing the psychological safety of the Kremlin from multiple directions simultaneously. Drone strikes on Moscow are not just tactical. They're strategic communication directly to Russia's urban elite, the class whose continued support Putin needs most. Those elites now watch their city get hit on live Telegram feeds. They now live with mobile internet blackouts that the Kremlin rolls out to suppress drone coordination. The political bargain that Putin built his regime on, we bring you stability, you give us loyalty, is visibly cracking. Add to that Ukraine's demonstrated ability to reach 4,300 kilometers into Siberia and hit strategic bombers. Add the targeted assassinations of senior Russian generals on Moscow streets. Add the fact that Putin's own top generals are blaming each other in emergency meetings. Add a former defense minister being tagged in an intelligence report as a potential coup leader. This is what a regime under genuine internal pressure looks like. Putin threatened to open the gates of hell against the West. Right now, it looks like Ukraine may have already found the keyhole, and it's not on NATO's border. It's inside the Kremlin itself. What do you think happens next? Does Putin hold? Does the elite fracture? Does this war change shape entirely over the next 90 days? Drop your analysis in the comments. Follow me for daily updates. This is moving fast, and I'm going to keep you ahead of it. This is your analyst signing off.